Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today is a little bit different. I'm going to be doing a keto Q&A. I get more questions about keto than I do about makeup on a daily basis. I feel like every time I check the comments on a YouTube video, so many are about keto. On Instagram, it's just like keto, 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 keto. It's overwhelming. And I've honestly been nervous to make this video. I don't exactly know why. I think it's just because I'm not a professional. I am not a nutritionist. I don't know the answers to a bunch of the questions that I'm being asked. So before I get started into answering any questions, you need to know that I'm not a professional. And before you do any sort of diet or lifestyle change or whatever you want to call it, you need to consult with your doctor. I think also finding a doctor that supports the diet, because I have heard of people that talk to their doctors and they're just uneducated on it, so they think it's crazy. And also I think it is crucial that you do your research. You can't research keto enough, I feel. I'm always learning new things, and I think that's crucial to stay on track with it, and I just think it's very important. And by research, I don't just mean asking somebody in a comment. I think like going and reading articles and like just really investigating to learn more about it, because that's the only way you're really actually going to succeed on it if you're interested in doing it, is to investigate, learn about it, and yeah. So let's dive into the questions. One of the most popular questions that I got is just about me personally. So I thought I'd just go over my keto past, present, and future. So basically I started keto last year. I learned about it from a subscriber, Jeanette. I knew 2 other people that were talking about it, but to me it sounded crazy. All in all, if you're unfamiliar with the diet, it is a high fat, moderate protein, and low to no carb diet. I started it last year and I lost 30 pounds total on the diet. I did it from May to July. I felt amazing, felt great, and after I felt amazing and felt great, I stopped because no reason why, I just kind of stopped doing it. I love the diet and it works for me. So I don't know why I stopped, but basically I ended up gaining a lot of weight back because I was eating junk food. And so then finally a month and a half ago, I decided to go hard with it again. And this time I threw out the scale. I have a really bad relationship with the scale, and I would get obsessed with numbers and stuff like that when really there's so much more going on in your body. So that number really doesn't mean anything. So this time, I don't even know how much I weigh right now. I know what I weighed at the beginning. When I'm ready, I will weigh myself. Once I'm feeling really good about my body, then I'll weigh myself. But so I can't tell you how much I've lost this time around, but my goal at the beginning of this journey this time around was to do it 3 months straight without cheating at all. So I'm a month and a half right now in without cheating at all. I'm feeling absolutely amazing. I find it very easy to do. A lot of feedback that I get from people is that they think it seems very complicated, or, you know, I think one of the things that really helped me this time around was to just keep it simple. The internet is amazing, but it can also be your downfall. Pinterest is amazing for recipes and stuff like that, but also on the flip side, don't overcomplicate things. I haven't looked on Pinterest once this time around. I've just kept it so simple, because 2 months ago before I started, I was not in a good place. I was in a funk. I was depressed. I did not even want to start, to be honest. I didn't want to start anything. I just wanted to eat junk food all the time. So I kind of just like forced myself into it just because I knew that it worked and I knew that I needed a change. And the ketogenic diet has more benefits to it that aren't just physical. There's a lot of mental benefits, and it truly does help with my depression, and it helps with my mood. It helps with so many things. I'm not even gonna get into the list because you could just Google it and find out that information. I know I can just like feel it in my body, because since I'm not weighing myself, I can just feel that. I know I've lost at least 10 pounds, especially because of the way like my clothes are fitting. The other thing too is when I started this time, I kind of kept really quiet about it because I've been very open about keto in the past, and when I'm good on keto, when I'm eating healthy and working out and feeling like a rock star, just feeling good about myself, I have no problem like sharing stuff with you and answering questions and being vocal about it. But to be honest, when I'm not doing well and I'm not eating right, I get overwhelmed with keto questions, just because it kind of reminds me that I'm not doing it. So that's kind of like a mental thing that I need to work on, because I want to share this with you and I want to help others, because I know it's very popular right now. I feel like keto wasn't really that popular when I started last year. And I know it's been around for so long, but it's just now starting to become like crazy popular because it is so amazing. But anyways, so this video is going to be kind of all over the place just because the questions are kind of all over the place. So let's get into it. Do you count calories on keto? How do you know if you're eating enough fat? I'd love to see some keto cooking videos. I would love to do keto cooking videos. I was going to originally do them on my second channel, but I think I'm going to start doing them here and doing like very like cute, like professionally edited videos and make them real fancy here, and then keep stuff real casual on my second channel. But that's awesome. I'm glad you want to see that because I would enjoy doing that for you. Do I count calories on keto? I don't this time around. This time around when I did this, I didn't want to count anything. I didn't want to track anything, but part of that was because I already knew the meals that worked for me, and I already knew the meals that were keto enough for me. A year ago, I did that. I used my FitnessPal or Chronometer. Those are two apps that are amazing for tracking everything. And I would make sure that I would have 80% of my total calories be from healthy fats, and it would be like 20% protein or less, and it would be only 5 to 10% carbs. Honestly, I'd try to stick around 5% carbs. The other thing too, I think a big misconception is that, you know, vegetables have carbs. Yes, they do. You want to make sure you're having net carbs. So that's why the Chronometer app is really amazing, because it will take your carbs minus your fiber and give you your net carbs, which is what you need to be looking at. I eat a bag of broccoli a day. Yeah, to answer your question, no, I don't count calories. When I did, I stuck around 1,700, but if I went over, it wasn't a big deal. If I went under, it wasn't a big deal. It's very easy to overeat on keto. I never went under 1,500 calories, that's for sure. How do you know if you're eating enough fat? You will know by the way you feel. It will satisfy you. You'll be really full. Do you find you need less sleep on keto? No, if anything, you need more sleep. Last year when I was doing it, if I didn't get enough sleep, it would actually knock me out of ketosis. So keep that in mind. But again, everybody's different. So what's your favorite keto snack? This is recent. I brought this upstairs so I could show you guys. These are the Chalk Zero Keto Bark. This one has almonds in it. Oh my gosh, these are so good. They come in like little wrappers like this, and it's like an entire little candy bar, and it tastes freaking delicious. So this is my favorite keto snack. Oh, quickly, the other thing I want to mention is that there's definitely a healthy way and an unhealthy way to do keto. This past month and a half, I have not been doing it the healthiest way. I was just doing it to do it and to get my ass into gear. I highly recommend you check out Ruth May on YouTube. I think her name on Instagram is Ruth May Keto. I love her whole way of eating. She does things very, very natural. She has a lot of vegan options. So if you are a vegan or vegetarian, she's got so many meatless options. And her whole way of doing things is like as least amount of processed foods as possible. So yeah, here I am recommending this like keto bark, but technically it is a processed food. Eventually I'd like to work up to doing things that way and doing things like very unprocessed as possible. Right now I'm just kind of doing me. So I'm working on that. That is a goal of mine, just one thing at a time. What are your tips and tricks for eating out? I find it easier and easier to eat out while I'm on keto. Steak and a side of vegetables. You can get butter, put the butter on it. Any kind of salad, I get ranch. You probably shouldn't get the ranch because it's got a bunch of bad stuff in it, but I still eat the ranch. Olive oil on your salad is good. You can get a burger without the bun. That's kind of like my go-to, is a burger with no bun. I love the Cobb salad at Chick-fil-A, even though it has corn in it. You're not really supposed to have corn. I still eat it with the avocado dressing. When you're eating out, just stay away from a lot of sauces unless you can get the information on them. Stay away from any sugar, any carbs, and just stick with the basics. That's what's really helped me this time around, is just like not going crazy, just sticking with the basics. What is your go-to keto approved alcoholic drink? I actually don't really drink that much. I don't know, I've just never really been into it, so that's never really been an obstacle for me on keto, but I'm sure you could Google it and find some good stuff. A lot of people ask me about like the keto flu and like how long did it take me to get into ketosis, and like how do you like not get bored with foods that you eat? So for me, I really don't get the keto flu. And I find that when I have gotten the keto flu in the past, it's because I was doing something wrong. Now, don't quote me. but I just feel like that's the case. Yes, your body is going through some changes, but if you're doing it right, you shouldn't be having those symptoms. I watched Dr. Eric Berg on YouTube. He's awesome. And in one video, I think he was talking about the keto flu, and he was like, well, if you're experiencing this, try doing this, try increasing your salt. And it's like, oh, it's because you're not used to the way that you're eating, so you're forgetting to eat other things that provide you with the nutrients that you need. Again, I'm not a scientist, but I know that keto works for me, and I know what foods I should be eating and that work for me. So if I'm getting some sort of keto flu symptom, I know like, okay, I'm clearly not eating enough of this or enough of that or whatever. I'm horrible at explaining this, but yeah, pretty much it just takes me like 2 days to jump into ketosis. And as far as getting bored about the foods, I feel ya. I think it's really cool if you have a keto buddy. I know a lot of us can't have keto buddies, someone that you know to talk about keto with. I think that's very helpful because, for instance, I do eat a lot of the same meals and I don't get sick of them, but my mother-in-law just started keto last week, and she made sausage sauteed with like peppers and onions and olive oil, and it was a totally different taste from what I'm used to. I'm just used to like burgers and salads with ranch and olive oil, and it's like that's a totally different taste, and I eat a lot of cheese, so it was nice to have just a completely different taste, but it was still keto. I feel like once I get fat adapted, which I can probably say I am right now fat adapted, I don't get sick of the foods. I think a lot of people, when they hear like, oh, you do no sugar and low to no carbs, people are like, oh, well, I couldn't do that. I couldn't not have bread. I couldn't, they're coming up with excuses, and it's mainly because they've never tried it or they haven't done it correctly. And I know this from experience because I've started keto before and I've been lazy and I haven't wanted to stick through that hard part where your body's adjusting and getting fat adapted. But once you are, you don't get as hungry or hangry, your mood is better, and you don't crave things. So many people ask me about sugar cravings. How do I get rid of sugar cravings? You just have to do the diet. You have to do keto perfectly until you get fat adapted, and then those cravings will go away. You won't have them anymore. The other thing too is if you have a sugar craving and say you go for something like that keto bark that I was talking about, something that is like a keto alternative to it, you're not really letting yourself adapt to being away from the sugar. You're just giving it something that is very similar, so you're not going to cut that sugar craving. I think trying to limit sweets is very important because trust me, eventually you will become fat adapted and you won't crave that stuff. It is possible. And if you're watching this thinking, yeah, right, that's not possible, I can't do that, I can't live without XYZ, you can. Trust me. And it sounds crazy, but there is a lot of science behind it. I'm not a scientist, but I know there's a lot of science behind it, and it is possible. Favorite keto recipe? My favorite thing is my peanut butter drink. I have it here on my Instagram and my keto highlights. If you just skip through, you can find it in there. There's also keto cheesy biscuits. Those are also very delicious. So check out my keto highlight on my Instagram page. If you're not following me on Instagram, I'll post it in here. I post not every day, but a lot throughout the week. I'll post what I'm eating that's keto. In case you're curious and you need recipe ideas and you want to know what I'm eating, check that out because I always post in there. What is my intermittent fasting schedule and what works best for me? So if you don't know what intermittent fasting is, it's basically just eating all of your food for the day in a certain amount of time. So it's not eating any less food, it's just the time that you're eating it. So I pretty much eat, for the most part, or what I try to do is I eat one meal a day. You can call it OMAD. You just eat all of your calories and all of your food in one meal. Sometimes, like, I'm also very much live your life and do what works best for you. So sometimes, like, I'll wake up and I am hungry, so I'll eat, or I won't be hungry till like 4 or 5 o'clock at night, so I won't eat until then, or I'll eat and then I'll want a snack later, so I'll do that. But I really do just listen to my body. But on an average day, how it works for me is I'll wake up, I'll have my coffee. This time around, I haven't done bulletproof coffee just because I got sick of the taste. It was kind of a process to make. You gotta blend it, gotta do all this. So pretty much I just have black coffee with heavy whipping cream. There's a debate on whether or not that's allowed in your intermittent fasting period. I say screw everyone and do what works best for you. If you find that you get the fasting results while still having your coffee, just go for it, because I sure do, and it works for me. So I do that, and then I usually don't eat until like 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and that I'll either have like salmon and broccoli with butter and cheese. I'll have a burger with no bun and have broccoli and cheese. Broccoli with butter and cheese and pink Himalayan salt is like my favorite. With all of that together, it ends up being about 1,500 calories, and my fats are met, proteins are met, my carbs are low, and sometimes I'll have a snack at dinner. A lot of times Ruben comes home and he's starving after work, so then I end up getting hungry just because he's eating. But a lot of times I'm really not hungry. You'll get like boredom, false hunger. You know what I'm talking about? Where like you're just bored, you're watching TV, you want to munch on something, but you have to ask yourself if you're actually hungry, because a lot of times you're not. You're just used to eating impulsively and like being brainless and just eating. You know what I mean? That's basically my intermittent fasting schedule. It does change from time to time, but I think throwing out my scale and not being so obsessed with that really helps me just listen to my body and what it's doing and what it wants, so that I can just do it that way. You know what I mean? Oh, someone was asking me about what do you put in your coffee to sweeten it if you don't want to do bulletproof coffee. I saw Katie post about this. She was using the Perfect Keto MCT oil powder. So I got this after watching her video, and this stuff is amazing. It does not give you that gross bulletproof coffee taste, which I actually really like bulletproof coffee. I just kind of got sick of drinking it every morning. But I really like this. I also include this in my peanut butter milkshakes. It's really good. This is a big question too, is about carb cycling. Do I do keto 7 days a week? Do I carb cycle? Do I plateau? Whatever. Here's my thing with that. I think for me, I haven't cheated once. I get so many questions on if you're allowed to cheat. No, technically you're not, but if you stay with it, trust me, you won't want to cheat. I know it sounds crazy. You don't need to cheat. As far as carb cycling goes, that's a thing where like you could have like carbs on the weekends and then jump back into keto. I did that last year from like end of July till Thanksgiving, and I maintained my weight that way. So if you're trying to lose weight, I do not recommend that at all. That's just my personal preference. But as far as maintenance, I actually plan on doing that in the future, but not for a while, because I really do enjoy this way of living. I don't find myself craving anything. The only thing I wish I could have is like cantaloupe and watermelon. Everything else doesn't really, I just don't want it. And that's why I'm saying, like, if you just stick with it, you won't crave that crap anymore. I'm telling you, it really does work. I feel like you have to get to the 1.5 month point, because it's only been the last 2 weeks where I've really felt like fat adapted and good and like comfortable. Like Ruben will eat a pizza in front of me and ice cream, and I don't crave it. I don't want it anymore. And you can do keto versions of both of those, just so you know. But yeah, so carb cycling, I just don't do it. If that's something that you think would work for you, that's awesome. I think the Healthful Pursuit, the girl from what is her name? I'll link her down below. She talks about carb cycling and stuff, and there's definitely a way to do it, and more power to you if that's what you want to do. It's just not for me currently, as I'm trying to lose weight, because I know if I have carbs, it's not going to give me the results that I want, and I don't crave them. What number of carbs do you stick to? Do you count all or just net carbs? I always count net carbs. That just means your carbs minus your fibers. You still want to eat a lot of vegetables, and you will get quite a few carbs, but you'll also get a lot of fiber too. So I haven't counted this time around, but from the meals that I'm eating and when I was counting last year, I'd say I probably eat no more than 12 net carbs a day. It's honestly probably around like 5. Do you feel like you're clearer minded when doing keto? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Have you guys been noticing that I've been posting more videos? It's because I can actually think and I'm more creative. It's great for my mood. It's amazing. Someone said, since you're not eating carbs and such, have you noticed a change in your energy? And I'm like, oh hell yeah, I'm like super energetic. And she goes, if so, how do you combat that? So I feel like that's a misconception that you need carbs for energy. Carbs and sugar are glucose, so your body usually uses that for energy. So pretty much what you're doing by neglecting all of that is your body is now switching over to ketones for energy, and that's a cleaner, better fuel for energy. So just check it out, just research it so you can learn a little bit more about it. But yeah, my energy is through the roof. I've got way more energy, and after I eat, I'm not like, oh, Dad, like I need a nap. No, when I'm full, it's like, all right, I'm fueled, I'm ready to go. Let's get shit done. Where before, like when you're on a carb diet, or at least me personally, after I would eat before, I'd be exhausted and like, oh, time for like a food coma nap. You know what I mean? How can I try keto while also being a vegetarian and pescatarian? I feel like I don't really eat a lot of meat, even though I just talked about like burgers and steak and stuff like that. I actually find it pretty easy to do it vegetarian because keto is a high healthy fat diet. Those healthy fats are coconut oil, avocado, olive oil. Especially since you're saying vegetarian and pescatarian, I feel like it's even easier than if you were vegan. I find that I've done it vegan before and it's a little bit more challenging, but it is totally doable. Definitely check out Ruth May. I freaking love her. And her sister is vegan, so she gives a lot of vegan options and vegan recipes. So check her out. Pescatarian and vegetarian, I feel like it'd be so easy. You just eat eggs. You could never have enough salmon. It's so delicious. It's very doable. What is a simple keto meal plan, ingredients and all? I can't give that to you. I feel like as humans, we like things to just be easy and handed to us, but you kind of have to just research it, do some trial and error things, and do it. Unless you want to like contact like a keto professional who wants to actually give that to you. You can check out my keto highlight on Instagram, but there's no way I'd be able to give you like a keto meal plan. Oh, I got so many questions about when you stop doing keto, or if you stop doing low carb and you start eating carbs again, will you gain weight? Yes. I mean, anytime that I've gotten off of keto, it's because I stopped doing it and I started eating junk food again. Obviously, you're going to gain weight when you do that because you're not eating healthy. I've seen a lot of negative comments about keto being like, yeah, well, as soon as you stop doing it, you're gonna gain weight. It's like, well, with any diet, you do that. Any diet where you do anything, you'll gain weight if you stop doing it. So yeah. A lot of people ask me about working out and stuff. So I wanted to do it this time around in phases because like I said, I was just like not even wanting to start when I started this last time. So this time when I started, the first month, I just focused on my eating. I didn't track anything. I didn't take my vitamins. I still haven't started taking my vitamins. I just did keto. So now, 2 weeks ago, I finally started working out again. I do a lot of HIIT workouts. I'm lifting weights with my friend Amanda. We go twice a week to the gym, and then I do a couple other at-home workouts. I would like to work out 5 days a week, but right now it's looking more like 2 or 3. But I'm easing myself into it just because I want this to be a lifestyle change and not a quick fix. I'm about ready to start incorporating my vitamins again into my diet. And then I would like to be a little bit more strict with my dairy intake, but we'll get there eventually. I got a lot of cholesterol questions because it does increase your cholesterol. Again, not a doctor, not a nurse, but from my research and from people that are doctors, nurses, and dietitians have all said that it will raise your cholesterol. However, there are 2 types of cholesterol, and it raises the good kind that is not bad for you. What advice would I give somebody who wants to start the keto diet? For the 10th time in this video, just research the crap out of it. I think you need to just stick with it hard. Don't worry about sweets. Don't worry about cheating. Just focus on the diet. Do it right. It's easy. I mean, I've done this diet before and I've lost 30 pounds on it, which is why I know it works for me and I I thrive on it. But even like 2 months ago, before I started it and I was in that dark place, I was making excuses for it. I don't know why I was doing that, but I was thinking like, oh, I don't want to like give up ice cream. Like, oh, I don't want to give up this, or I want to be able to cheat from time to time. And it's like, I was in such a negative space. Once I just forced myself to do it, and now I've been doing it for a month and a half, I don't crave that stuff anymore. So if you're starting out, keep it simple. Don't go crazy with making all these in-depth recipes because you'll get tired of making recipes, trust me. That's exhausting. I feel like if you want to do like one fun recipe a week, go for it. But other than that, like at least for me, I just keep it simple. So just keep it simple, do your research, then research some more, and stick with it. For me this time, I said I'm throwing out my scale and I want to do it straight for 3 months without cheating. I haven't tracked a single thing. I haven't weighed myself once, and I feel amazing. I feel like I could just keep going past the 3-month mark. People are just asking about like resources. I will link my favorite YouTube channels down below that do keto and give like tons of advice. I'll link those down below, because that for me helps me. It keeps me inspired. It reminds me like, oh yeah, so-and-so online is doing this. Like I could do it too. So it kind of helps keep me on track and remember why I'm doing it. I think too, for me, like my grandpa passed away a couple months ago from Alzheimer's, and that was like another big reason why I wanted to start this again and go hard with it, because I truly believe that the standard American diet pretty much causes a lot of illnesses, including Alzheimer's and cancer and stuff. And you can disagree with me, that's fine. But I truly believe that, and I believe that this diet is the healthiest way of living. So that is why I've really wanted to stick with it this time, and I really want to get Ruben on it and all that kind of stuff, because I just want him to be healthy. And that's also why I'm like making these videos and talking about it, because I also want to help you if you're interested in it, because I truly believe in it. One thing from the diet you'll take into how you approach your food lifestyle going forward. I love that question. I think that's a great question. So overall, I do love this way of eating. I think it's amazing. It's got so many health benefits, so many mental benefits, physical benefits. It's amazing. I'm also the kind of person that promotes living your life. So right now, I want to be strict. I really do want to be strict. I don't want to mess up, especially for this first 3 months. I really want to be good and stick with it. I really do. However, once I get to my goal, I want to maintain, and I want to live my life. So you better believe on Thanksgiving, I'm gonna go crazy. When it's, you know, my nieces and nephews' birthday parties, I should be able to have cake. But again, listen to your body. Like overall, I'd like to eat this way forever, but if I'm craving something, I will give it to myself. It just so happens that right now, I'm not craving anything. I think those are all my questions. I think I went over them all. I really hope that this video was helpful. Make sure you're following me on Instagram, because I do post a lot on my Instagram stories, and I save it to my keto highlight. If you wanna see more keto videos from me, please thumbs up this video and make sure you're subscribed and that your bell is selected so you're notified when I upload. And yeah, I'd like to do recipe videos and stuff like that, but I pretty much just do eat like the same thing all the time. Yeah, I think my second channel, I just want to keep that channel a little bit more casual and do like more behind the scenes kind of thing, even behind the scenes of keto. But then if I do a recipe, I think it'd be fun to post it here and just make it more like fancy schmancy with like editing and music, and I don't know. Let me know what you're thinking. So yeah, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. Thank you for asking me your questions and being interested in it. I hope you guys have an awesome day, and I'll see you later. Bye.